Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about we're over 50. Why do we do YouTube?
Yeah, we have a lot of viewers who are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, and we get this question a lot about, is it good to start a YouTube channel? And we're going to break down today why it is super beneficial for people, especially in that age range, to start a YouTube channel. And it's just an opportunity of a lifetime, so let's jump right into why it is beneficial. The first thing is that it opens doors to things that we would have never spent money on. So to break this down for you, we've been kind of a paycheck to paycheck family our whole life. If you go back and look at our story, we have had kids, we've been self-employed, I was a photographer. Those aren't really recipes for massive amounts of extra cash. And so we've just always kind of lived paycheck to paycheck and vacationed as such, meaning not the best vacations. But that doesn't mean we didn't want to ever do amazing things, we just couldn't really do them. But with YouTube, what we've learned is that we can kind of go out on a limb and book something that we never would have really wanted to afford to spend that money on, because we know we're going to get at least part, but usually all, and sometimes more than all of that money back through our YouTube videos.
Yeah, I think, we've had our eyes on quite a few things before, and just, really trying to be smarter about our money and about how we spent money on vacation, because we never spent money we didn't already have. We have always just paid cash for vacations, never putting them on credit cards or getting into debt for going on vacations. So it was important for us to, find things that we could afford. And one of the things that YouTube has opened the doors to is something that we'd wanted to do for a really long time and just could not afford to do. And we were finally able to do that just a couple of years ago. And that was to ride the Canadian, Via Rails the Canadian. It's a train that takes you, a sleeper train that takes you all the way across Canada from Toronto to Vancouver. And that was such an incredible experience. It really lived up to it for us.
Yeah, the thing about that train is it cost about $5,000 for the two of us to do, and it was a 4-night trip. So that's like outrageously expensive. If you're kind of in the position we were in, never would we do that. But then we had this YouTube channel and we started to see the numbers and we were like, I think this might work. We can at least get part of it back. So we did the Via Rail Canadian. Our 3 biggest videos that we filmed while we were on that train have made us, since we got off the train, $15,119.50. So not only did we get our $5,000 paid for, the trip was free, we tripled our money that we spent. So that's pretty astonishing, and that is the kind of thing that happens across the board. And now we've started to use YouTube as a, we could go do this fun thing we've always wanted to do. As long as we make a video about it, it'll be paid for.
Exactly, and that's what was so incredible about that, the Via Rail, the Canadian, is not only did we make all that money, but it's continuing to make money. Those videos are still up there and people are still watching them, which means we are still getting paid for them. So that number continues to grow over the years. And I love the fact that we have, the videos there to relive that incredible experience on that train.
Yeah, another thing we did recently was do 45 days of cruising. We took 5 cruises back to back to back to back to back. And that's something that we had always wanted to do. We never could have afforded to be on a cruise for that long. So we spent about $1,500 per cruise. We still tried to go, as low as we could. But we ended up making about $4,000 per cruise just on the video. So it ended up being free and paid us. And then recently we've started doing business class flights, because that is another thing we'd always wanted to do.
That's right. We've been using points, but you do have to pay still, so that money is coming back pretty quickly because we're not having to spend that much on them. It's great. You just, it's something you're already doing. You just videotape it, and here we are continuing to make money. And we have several other big things on the list still, don't we?
Yeah, we want to do a safari and we want in Africa, and we want to do an Antarctica trip. So those are two big things that are coming. The second thing that having a YouTube channel does for you is it gives you relationships with people who understand you. And that is so vital when you're in your 40s, 50s, and 60s. It is hard to find a group of people who really understand what you're doing. And it gives you really two different communities of people. The first is a community of content creators who are like you, who are on this journey doing the same thing you are. And the second is the community of channel subscribers who are following you along with what you are doing.
And that really was so unexpected, the building of those relationships. And it's really been so amazing to have that. First, it's kind of cool because other content creators will kind of see your stuff, especially if you're close to their niche or around their niche, or it's something that they're personally interested in. They see your videos and they may comment on it, and then you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then you go check out the person's channel and you're like, hey, we're kind of the same. And then the next thing you know, you're chatting back and forth, and then you're meeting up, which is super cool because it's a group of people that really fully understand, because they're doing YouTube also, and they're content creators and they understand the whole process. And then on top of that, you get a beautiful community of your subscribers, which has been really special to us. Like you said, we've gotten to meet up with subscribers all around the world, and it's just been so cool to meet other people who find what you're sharing helpful or interesting, or whatever the case may be. It's just been really nice to kind of build those relationships with people. And the other cool thing too is, like, you start to recognize the people who comment on your videos. You start to recognize their names, and then you see them, like, when we're doing our lives, you see their names. You're like, oh, that's that person that comments a lot on our videos. That's so awesome. So that's really cool too.
Yeah, it is, and it's something that people really crave in the YouTube world. And for that reason, we just this week, or we're announcing here, that we have launched a new community for creators, for content creators who are in our YouTube course, a place where they can meet others and get feedback and advice on their YouTube channel, and it's really a cool place.
Yeah, it's great because this is even better because you're kind of teaming up beforehand, like, you're growing together and you're on that path together, and it's a place to meet other people who are on that same path, and who are just getting started and who are just learning, and you can kind of learn from each other, and you all have the same information from the course, and you can kind of chat about how what you're working through and all those types of things. I've even seen people share, like, share different things, like either their content or thumbnails or anything like that. It's just been really interesting to kind of see the community as it starts to grow, and I'm just really excited to see that. And it's so great to have that. Like, it would have been great if we had something like that when we were getting started, instead of stumbling through along the way. But it's great, and we're just so excited to be able to provide that to the people who are in our YouTube course.
Yeah, so there's a link in the description for that if you want to check that out. The bottom line is, you're gonna have questions if you start YouTube. Most people give up because they don't know if what they're doing is working, and so this gives you a place to find out if what you're doing is working. Other people can tell you, yes, you're on the right track, keep doing what you're doing, or make this little tweak and then you'll be on the right track. So that is invaluable. The third thing is that it gives us a relevance and a purpose, a place for our voice. We didn't know we needed this, but as we've come into contact with a lot of people over the last few years, we've realized that that is what separates people who are either retired or retired early. A lot of them don't have a place for their voice, and it really does stand out that they're searching, struggling, looking for something, looking for some form of relevance, and they just can't find it. And for people that have a YouTube channel, we have found that this pretty much solves that issue. Full stop.
Yeah, basically, we've talked about this actually in other videos here on the channel, talked about, some of the things that you're not going to have anymore once you retire, you leave your job. And one of those things is that feeling of relevance, or that feeling of, hey, I have knowledge and I can share it. It's kind of gone. But when you have something like a YouTube channel, you can share that, and you can, continue to help people and share the information. Because, it boils down to the fact that, if you're over 40, you've lived a life, and you've had all this information and knowledge that you've gathered in that life And it's amazing to share that information with other people, what you've learned, because we all have had different experiences. Even if we have some similarities, we still have a lot of things that are really different. So this is a great way to kind of unleash that part.
Yeah, and this is one that can sneak up on you in retirement, because most people don't realize that they need this until it's too late and they don't have anything, because currently you probably have relevance, you have a voice, but you will not know how you feel when that's taken away until it is taken away, and at that point it's too late. So our advice is start something now. Start, even if you're not retired, even if you just want to do something on the side, start a YouTube channel. Start something, start building a voice in something other than your work, because that is going to leave you eventually. The next benefit of YouTube is just, I have to say it, it's the money. We've made way more money than we ever thought possible. We started this channel just to show you how much money we're making on this channel, but we've been pretty open about all of our channels. A lot of months we're making $13,000, $15,000, $20,000 a month doing YouTube. So it's life-changing money if you do this right. Now that's the key thing, if you do this right. A lot of people do this and they make one or two little mistakes that could have changed everything for them, and they do it wrong, and then they give up and they're like, well, YouTube is so hard. But it's not hard if you know what you're doing, and there is so much money to be made. That's why we started this channel, just to see, like, we started our other channels and they did well, and we're like, well, was that luck or do we actually know what we're doing? So we started this channel and we started a couple other channels and they've all done the same thing. So that kind of made us come to the realization that, all right, this is kind of a system, and that is why we put the course together, because this does work.
Yeah, because if you look back, we've done videos where we've shared like our very first channel, which is still earning money, but not a lot, because that's where we made all of our mistakes that we learned from. And yeah, it's still making money, but it, you know, we're talking about like $150 or something like that. When you compare that to what we're making on all of our other channels, it's really a stark difference between not knowing what you're doing to knowing what you're doing. And once we learn those things, we're like, we have got to package this up and we have got to share this with people, because it's something that has made an enormous difference. I mean, it's such a stark difference, right? When we look at the numbers and we share those with you every month, it's so crazy to me to look back at that first channel where we had no idea what we were doing and just, you know, a shot in the dark kind of thing. And then, you know, the other channels are insane in comparison, and it's just kind of wild to me, really.
Next one's going to be to preserve your memories, and this one's big for us. We love to watch our old videos. Sometimes we'll be scrolling through on one of our computers. We have all our videos saved on a hard drive here, and we'll just watch them sometimes, and it's fun to go back and see some hikes we did or some cruises we were on. It's kind of like the old home movies. Sometimes we want to watch at night, and we'll throw on one of our old vacations, because it's like, oh, it brings back good memories, and it's just a fun thing to do. So you want to preserve that. You want to be able to show your parents, your kids, your friends what you've been up to, and just show people maybe you meet in the future what you did, and it's a really fun thing to have documented.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool too, just to have for in the future. Like, we did a few things at the very beginning that we probably won't do again or experience again, and it's great to go back and see those and be like, oh my goodness. Like, you know, one thing that really sticks out is like the very first time that we saw the Northern Lights. And we go back to that one actually quite a bit. The hiking that we did in Iceland, and just what an incredible experience that was. Just going there for the first time, it was amazing, and that is one that we go back to quite a lot. We love having those there.
And then this is a backup plan. This is a backup plan to our early retirement. We did quit our jobs and start traveling, and you know, we had a plan for that, but this was backup plan, and now it's kind of turned into more than a backup plan, because it's making way more money than the original plan. So I don't know that you can call it a backup plan anymore.
It's just the plan.
It's a plan. It's a fallback plan. We didn't really need or expect this to happen when we very first started out. and it did happen. So it can happen for you. It can happen for others. We say we're just normal people doing this, doing YouTube. We're not doing anything super fancy or hanging off the side of a mountain or doing anything crazy. We're just people who are doing it. And there's two things: is that we got started and we didn't give up. And that's really all you have to do is get started, take those first steps, don't give up, get some help to know what you're doing. And this truly, we've been running our own businesses for the last 30 years, and we've started a lot of different things. This is by far the best opportunity of our lifetime, of anyone's lifetime. It is something that we may not see again. The power of YouTube to transform your life. At this stage, when you're 40, 50, 60 years old, people are thinking, well, there's not much left for me. No, there is something amazing for you. Because here's the amazing thing, is that if you think about it, people who watch YouTube generally watch people who are about the same age as them. So if you're 40, 50, 60, all the people out there who are retired watching YouTube, they're 40, 50, 60. They're watching you. You may think that they're watching 20 and 30-year-olds, but they're not. They want to watch you because they have a connection with you right when you start the video. So it is just an incredible opportunity. There's not enough of us doing it, so we want to bring you aboard. If you've been thinking about doing YouTube, consider this your push to do it. This is something that you do not want to let go by without looking into.
Absolutely. We're extremely grateful that the opportunity is there and that we jumped in and that we learned the things that we did. And, we simply just want to share that with other people and give them the opportunity to be able to start on the right foot and not make the mistakes that we did with our first channel, but to start off on the right foot. And now that we have this community as well, it's going to be amazing because you'll be able to, again, be in touch with other people who are in the same arena and getting started and trying to get things going. So guys, hopefully this was helpful to you. If you have questions, please leave those down in the comments section for us so we can check those out. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and consider subscribing to the channel. We'll see you guys next time.